Good YouTube, it's Xavier Sturgill here today with another quick little airsoft video. Alright. Fucking scent thing spraying on me and shit. Anywho, alright, so today I'm going to be doing a real quick video because I literally have 30 minutes before I have to go to work, but I wanted to get something out to you guys for tomorrow. Alrighty, so I promised I would do this a while back when I did my XR-5 build. That one, I think. The sniper. But yeah, so I am going to blow up an XR-5. Really, it's not necessarily like trying to blow it up. I just want to see how the thing performs and how long it can handle an 11.1 volt LiPo. Most budget guns say they're LiPo ready, but they're absolutely not. Especially nowadays, I see a lot of JGs saying LiPo ready, and yet still, most people say don't run them on anything more than a 7.4 volt. What the hell's the point of having a LiPo if it's just a 7.4? I much prefer an 11.1. So we're going to go ahead and strap an XR-5 up to an 11.1 volt LiPo, wrap a piece of tape around the trigger, and see how long it lasts. After that, I'll probably rip it down and see what damage we did. Alright guys, stay tuned. Alright guys, so that thing is very freaking hot and it's starting to fail, as you can hear, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it there before the mortar explodes, because it is literally hot to the touch. So that made it, what was that, 6 minutes strapped to an 11.1 volt LiPo with the trigger just held, and I couldn't find any tape, so I just held it there myself. But yeah, I'm actually really impressed that it made it that far. I was expecting failure at like 2 or 3 minutes because I've seen the internals on these things, and they don't look to be all that great. The wires are hot to the touch. Honestly, not quite as bad as I've had with just fielding some guns. This thing sounds good too. Like, for not having such a great motor or great anything inside the internals of this gun, it wasn't too whiny, which I'm really impressed by. Also, this little makeshift suppressor acts more as an amplifier, which is absolutely awesome. You guys know I like to use suppressor or PVC as amplifiers. Again, this motor that's in here right now literally feels like I can't touch this grip. It's hot as fuck to the touch. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to give this a minute before I take it down. And then we'll rip it apart and see what damage we did. I'm surprised it even made it to 6 minutes, guys. I really am. I didn't think it would make it that far. And it sounds like it might... Ooh, that's hot. it might have still had some life left in it. It almost sounded like it was the motor height that was failing and not so much the gears, because the first time, or the first, screechy noise we heard was due to motor height. So maybe actually I should just try to go ahead and... No, we'll just take it apart and see. I don't want to push it too far. But, alright guys, so I'm going to get going to work. When I come back, we'll take this apart and see what happened. Alright guys, it's me. I'm finally back in front of the camera. It's been probably like 2 or 3 days. I've been dealing with some really bad bursitis in my shoulders and in my knees and with work. It's been a giant pain in the ass, but regardless, I'll probably go ahead and just get this video done and throw this out to you guys tonight. Alright, so as you saw there, the gun, or the gearbox I should say, made it through about 6.5-ish minutes or so on the 11.1 volt LiPo, which I am genuinely actually surprised by. So I have the gun all ripped apart, as you can see. I adjusted this and just to see what failed, because as you heard at the end of that shooting there, you started to get a scratching sound, and I didn't know if it was the motor height that was failing or what exactly was failing. And upon first inspection of the motor, we can see there that it did not fail. The motor teeth are barely even scratched. I'm actually really impressed that that motor made it through that. I mean, that is an 11.1 volt LiPo, and it's a RC rated LiPo. I think it's a 40C burst and a 25C or 30C just discharge continuous. So yeah, it's definitely no slouch. And then moving on to the gearbox here, I haven't cracked it open yet. I'll crack it open on camera for you guys. But just so you guys can see, I can already see, I think, what is causing the scratching. You can see that this is what I complained about in my disassembly guide. You can see it has bushings instead of bearings, which is fine in some cases. Like some of the Crytek's have bushings instead of bearings. The issue comes because these are polymer bushings. It looks to be the same exact injection molded polymer that comes off of the body, which is good in some cases but bad in the fact that injection molded plastics typically have a really low melting temperature, for those who aren't familiar with this kind of stuff. So as you can see here, this bushing is just completely melted, and on the other side you can see it looks like it started to encapsulate itself. So the fastest spinning gear in the gun, which I believe is the pinion, no, this is the pinion, this is bevel gear if I recall correctly, this is the bevel gear. It's just completely almost fried its bushings, which in my opinion this bottom one should have had steel bushings, but I guess all we can do now is crack this bitch open and find out how bad it really was. So stay tuned. Alrighty, so just diving on in here, it looks like we might have a potential point of failure, and I'm going to get to that in a second. I just want a quick touch up on the internals of this gun. So yes, I was right. It appears that a lot of the internals are actually done in injection molded polymer, which is perfectly fine. They're not bad pieces. Like, this is an ample part. This is more than what you need for this gun. But where they fucked up is exactly where I thought they fucked up. These gears are actually really surprisingly impressive. Okay, so this gear here has absolutely no signs of wear and tear. Like, it is like literally almost mint condition. You can see where the pinion gear was grinding against this, but grinding is kind of a stretch. I mean, this has less tear than my Crytek does. That's actually really impressive. I mean, again, it is a newer gun, but I held it there for 6 minutes on a battery it definitely should not have been running on. And especially when your motor height's not set right and there's all this different kind of friction because this thing hasn't been greased properly. I don't even know if it's shimmed properly. To have almost no wear is just really impressive. These gears look new. Your anti-reversal latch, this is the little fucker that usually screws with most people on their first builds. This looks perfectly fine to me. The spring is nice and weak. I like them weak. It makes them easier to reassemble on these non-split design gearboxes. Alright, getting onto the piston here. Piston looks... There's a little bit of wear on the piston. The piston doesn't seem to be made out of the same polymer that the rest of the orange here is. Honestly, it's not as nice. You can see the seam here. It feels like an ABS plastic. Doesn't even feel like a polymer. But yeah, you can see the wear. I like that it has the teeth, the metal teeth up front. That definitely adds to the longevity of the rifle, but with the higher speed setups, this will rip itself to shreds. I don't suspect this would have made it past maybe 50,000 rounds. At least with the 11.1 volt LiPo. Spring is nice. It has this, let me kind of zoom out here. It has this really nice irregular pitch spring, and I actually really appreciate that. These just tend to perform better, give you a slightly higher rate of fire than standard, just straight compression ones. And the way that the spring decompresses is a little bit more snappy, I guess. It's hard to explain. I guess there's probably much better techs than me out there that would be able to explain that to you better than I can. But I do like the spring. It definitely does not seem like an M100. It seems more like an M120 in my opinion. I know this gun is chronoing right around 400, so zooming back on in here, let's check the tappet plate. Alright, so to remove a tappet plate, all you have to do is there's this little tiny spring underneath on the bottom side here. You just gotta pop that guy off of the gearbox pin. If I can get it, I might have to use this little screw. Just use whatever little like sharp object you can get your hands on. I just use this little screw here and pried it up off of there. So, but alrighty. Now that that's off, all you have to do to get the piston out or tappet plate out and whole cylinder setup is pick it up. Go up and off at an angle like that, because this spring here on the top of your trigger mech will catch. Alrighty, so here is the cylinder set itself. Go ahead and remove that tappet plate spring. Alright, so your air seal on your cylinder head. Oh boy. Okay, that's a bit rough. Okay, so I can already tell you that this cylinder is definitely lacking, I think, compression-wise. Ooh. I may stand corrected. Wow, that's... Okay, so you can see there, you can hear it, but see how that requires force? That means that there's a decent air seal on this for being a stock. This thing is just continually impressing me. Every turn of the corner, this thing just surprises me. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think it would have a good compression, but look at that. It's giving me feedback. I'm sure you guys could have heard that, but that's really impressive. I'm actually genuinely impressed with the compression components on this rifle for being I mean, it's $85 gun again. This is not a bad. I mean, it's not bad. It looks like it wouldn't be good, but it's not bad. Alrighty. Sector gear. Here's your sector gear. It's a single sector gear. It has got a lot of teeth, which again, it kind of astounds me the fact that the rate of fire was as high as it was, especially with that stock motor and such a long sector gear here. I want to guess it's probably like 18 tooth. I'm not even sure. 2, 4, 6. It's a 16 tooth sector, which is pretty. It's a pretty substantial number. The dual sector gears you guys will see are technically short stroked, so they'll be down to like that. This has got a whole another like quarter or third rack. So yeah, it's a pretty impressive rate of fire. And once again, almost no wear and tear on this sector gear. This thing is really, really, really impressive. And I also have to say, they were pretty conservative on the use of grease in this gun, which I actually like. I hate it when these things are just lathered full of that crappy Chinese factory grease. Alrighty, and last but not least, what is this? Oh god, you have the pinion, bevel, sector, and spur. I think this is actually the bevel. I think this one's the spur, I want to say. Yeah, that's the spur gear. Okay, so bevel gear. This is often a point of failure in like M14s and stuff like that. I think I've had almost every single M14 I've ever had has had this gear strip out on it. I've had multiple of these gears strip out on me. It looks like they actually did put some time into shimming. It has 2 shims on here. I'm not sure what their exact... Oh, look at that. We found another point of failure, guys. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so it's shimmed. It looks like it's shimmed properly, at least for the crappy bushings that it has. Once again, no wear and tear. This gear looks brand new. I mean, it was only a 6-minute hold, and your gun should absolutely be able to do that. This gun is not rated for an 11.1 volt LiPo, so these gears are more than enough for what it was pulling. This looks to be an M120 spring, and you guys heard the rate of fire on that. I'll try to get a count for you, but more than enough. Alrighty, that's another thing too, is your tappet plate, your tappet delay chip here. I think this would probably wear down over time under heat, but it looks like it's holding up for now. Alrighty, now on to the points of failure, which I can already point out to you right off the bat. So we can see here, oh boy, look at this. So this crappy bushing, this is the worst part of this gun. I think they really just, I think they underestimated how important these bushings are. I think that's what probably happened. You can see here that it's actually stripped itself of some material, and the material is actually still on the gearbox here inside there. You can see that bit of orange. It's on the lip there. That's actually part of the bushing that stripped itself off. That's not good. This gun, I mean, I'm confident that with a 7.4 volt LiPo or an 7.2 volt LiPo or an 8.4 volt standard nickel metal hydride battery, this thing could last quite a while. I mean, at least definitely for your intro to airsoft. But at those kind of speeds, there's no way these things would ever hold up. I wouldn't put it past 50,000, honestly. Just because of these bushings too. These gears are phenomenal. That compression is amazing. I mean, it's not all you have to do to this gun is R-hop it and put a nice good barrel in it. That's all you have to do, and a good mortar if you want to go a little faster. That's only if they didn't have these crap bushings in here. Alrighty, moving on. Let's pop the next bushing out. Alright guys, so this next one here, this one's not as bad as the first one, honestly. But what really bothered me is the following one, which again was the original problem child. So that first gear that the mortar comes in contact with is the one that spins the fastest, and that's what this one came off of. And as you can see here, it was literally melting itself. Now I'm not sure what the exact revolutions per minute difference is. I'm not about to break down the tooth count and tell you, but what I will say is the rate at which this was spinning. 1 is significantly faster, and 2, this would not last. There's no way this would last at that rate. There's just no way. You'd be lucky to get a full day of play out of this little bushing here. This would definitely shit out on you. There's just no way you could take it. Now that's not even as bad as this side here. This side is where the real problems came into play. Once again, you can see here that sector gear 1 is basically fine. Center one here is it's okay. You can see a little bit of wear and tear. It's nothing crazy. What really starts to show is this bottom one here. And once again, that same problem gear. And this is literally melted into the freaking gearbox. Oh my god. Okay. So this one here was lit. Oh my god, it just broke, I think. Okay, so yeah, this one here was the worst one on the gun. This was literally melting away. Look at that. This was all melted polymer material. You can see the orange still in there. Melted polymer material that was forced up out of the bushing just from the pure force and the RPM of this gun. You can see it's literally eating itself away inside of there. This was only 6 minutes. Mind you, 6 minutes of continuous fire. In an LMG situation, you're definitely going to be holding it longer than that. Just to show you what kind of, this is why the gun failed right here, is because this gear was no longer sitting in one spot. See how I can wiggle this around? Basically, just the pressure from the spring pushing on the motor, or the motor head, sorry, pushing on the gear, was slowly pushing this out. So every now and again, I was starting to have these misfires, and that's just because the teeth were no longer in good contact with the pinion gear on the motor. And that's why we're getting that grinding. And that's probably what caused the little tiny bit of wear, that little tiny bit of wear that is on this gear. It's probably from that, because none of these other gears have any wear. But yeah, so it's definitely, this is our little problem child right here. This is the big pitfall of this gun. Alright guys, so yeah, real quick before I close out this video, I just wanted to quick show you as well. One last thing I forgot to mention is that the trigger inside this XR-5 is also rather impressive. Looks like it's using that silver core stuff instead of the brass, and I actually prefer this setup. Kind of reminds me of the old APS builds, which I actually think the old silver edge gearboxes, and I actually think those are severely underrated for what it's worth. The only thing I don't like, the wiring is doable, whatever. It just means the wires are gonna heat up a little bit because they're not the low resistance. The only thing I really did not like about this gun, again, was this little fucker right here. This is what failed the entire build. This gun is completely LiPo ready, in my opinion. I think the compression components were genuinely impressive. Once again, you can see here. Look at that. Look at that compression. See that? That's really good. Significantly better than most of your low-end AEGs. And I definitely would not consider this a low-end AEG, especially after having it open. I think it's just a very well-priced airsoft product. Even going on to the body, I mean, just for those nerds out there who know a thing or two about molding like I do, you can see here the mold. This is all injection molded. You can see there where the port is. For the injection, but holy cow, I mean, they used a very flexible polymer here, and I think that was the smartest decision. It is still rigid, but it's also very flexible, which means that this thing is going to be almost indestructible on the field. You could throw this airsoft gun at a wall, it is not going to break, because what is going to happen is it's going to flex, and that is so much better than having something that's very brittle. This thing is honestly genuinely impressive, and I have to say I love the modular, like how modular it is, because honestly I can come up with, I could 3D print my own receiver for this, guys. I could come up with all these different aftermarket attachments for these guns. If I knew that there was a market for it, I could do it. So you guys just gotta let me know how you feel about that. But yeah, again, I gotta say I'm impressed with the XR-5. This gun, and the reason I was so willing to destroy it is because I'm actually going to be doing a BBW workshop on this gun. Now, BBW, what the hell does that mean? No, that does not mean big, beautiful, whatever. That means Build a Beast Workshop. This is going to be my first gun for the Build a Beast Workshop series that I'm going to be coming out with hopefully in the next couple weeks here. I don't know exactly when. I can't give you guys a date because Lord knows if I give you guys a date, I'll be off. So, anyways, Build a Beast Workshop, I'm basically going to be building beast guns. I think that's going to be my big niche on this channel, is kind of just going through the nitty-gritty of doing different gun builds, custom gun designs, coming out with my own gun, hopefully in the near future here. I've been working really hard on a 3D model. I set up a Patreon that kind of just, if you guys are curious, it's not asking for money, it just explains what the hell the gun build is if you guys are just curious about what the fuck I'm doing. I'm hoping to come up with our own proprietary airsoft gun made in the USA. So hopefully that'll be something we can all kind of do together. If you guys are curious, again, shoot on over there. The link is on my main page. And maybe I'll throw it in the description too, just for those who are really curious. But yeah, I'm gonna try to just kind of gear this the channel direction towards gun builds, because that's really what I like to do. I can't afford to keep buying airsoft guns and doing unboxings. That kind of sent me broke, so I'm not gonna fuck with that shit anymore. Excuse my language. I'm just gonna start building my own stuff, because if you can't buy, you build. That's always been my philosophy. I can't afford a $100,000 supercar, so I'm gonna build a kit car. That's actually another one of the projects that I'm doing over on the project channel. So yeah, do I recommend this gun? Just kind of loop back. Yes, I recommend this gun. I still recommend this gun. I recommended this gun when it first came out. I stand by it. I think it's a phenomenal product. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was, because I could give them all kinds of crazy ideas. Regardless, I think that I think this gun is well worth the $85 price tag. And when I keep saying $85, guys, I'm referring to the gun at 105 minus your 25 or 26% discount that you get on e-bike. So you still have to pay your shipping or whatever, but you would have had to pay it anyways. So take the gun at 85, pay the shipping, whatever. That's still really, really cheap for this gun, even though it doesn't come with a battery. I really don't care. It's way more than what you're bargaining for. Honestly, the only gun that I have that has better polymer than this gun is this here. This here. This is a $500 airsoft gun. This is the real actual Magpul PTS licensed Masada. This is not the ANK, this is the actual Magpul ones. And this one uses the 3553 aircraft aluminum and the DuPont reinforced polymer. This is the same polymer they have in the real steel ones. Only gun I have in my collection that I would trust with better polymer than this XR-5, because again of that flexibility that this XR-5 has. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just kind of a step in a different direction. I didn't want to be a complete ripoff of what was his name, God's Airsofters. He used to do these blow up videos. I just kind of wanted to put the internals to the test, and now that we've tested them, I am going to try with this first BBW series build to build a 300-foot gun for under $100 in parts. I think it's very doable. I should be able to do it for honestly half of that, if that. I want to build a 300-foot gun again for less than $100 in parts. Hell, we might even get it under $100 in total, including the cost of the gun. So we'll just have to see how creative I can be. Alright guys, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know, give me some feedback. Let me know how you guys are liking the projects and the little teching stuff, and I'm going to try to come up with some entertaining random whatever videos here and there. I think I'm also going to try to pick up the pace at which I upload. I don't expect this video to perform very well when compared to some of my other videos. I know the other one's a lot more clickbaity, like the unboxings and armory videos. People just like those. Whatever. I like my real OG followers, and those are the guys like you that are watching all these heretical builds. I really appreciate you guys. So just, again, give me the feedback. Tell me if you guys like that direction. I think what I'll do to kind of keep the channel growing is uploading 2 or 3 times a week. I'll probably put one of these heresy videos up a week, maybe one of the unboxings, or fuck, I can't do it. Maybe one of the reviews up a week. So a heresy video, a review, and maybe like a talk, a Q&A. We'll have to see if you guys are really interested in that. I tried to do a live stream, it just wasn't working. I think a couple of you, like Ron Tolerance, he hopped in for a little bit, but I just couldn't get it to work right, so it is what it is. Let me know if that's something you guys would also like to see. But if you stuck around this long, I love you. You're one of the OG followers. Alright guys, I will catch you in the next video. Again, recommendations, toss them out. Peace.